What up guys, today I want to talk about is Dragon Ball Goku, mainly Kid Goku, faster than the speed of light. Now the reason why I want to talk about this topic is because there's been a couple of YouTube channels that I've been checking out that have been doing comparisons between, Goku and Dragon Ball characters versus characters from other universes. Universes where the characters are powerful but not overly powerful, so usually the version of Goku that they use is Dragon Ball Goku because he is still powerful but not as absurdly powerful as his Z version when he got way older. So they usually use a weaker version against these characters because these characters are powerful in their own right. But when it comes to Dragon Ball characters, since Dragon Ball characters are so overly powerful, that you have to usually use weaker versions of them, like Kid Goku and Goku from all the way back in Dragon Ball itself. Now, they usually, talk about different feats that Goku's able to accomplish all the way back in Dragon Ball, going through his durability, his strength, and his speed. And in this video, I'm talking about specifically about the speed itself because this is a kind of a common argument or statement that is stated quite a bit in these videos, and it's that comparing their speed is like, well, this character can move this fast and that fast, but Kid Goku was able to move faster than the speed of light all the way back in Dragon Ball. So even though it's a far weaker version of Goku, he's still absurdly powerful because he's even still able to move faster than the speed of light all the way back in Dragon Ball, and specifically as a kid. And the reason why they state this is because of two instances where we see Goku going faster than the speed of light, or feats where he showcases that he's faster than the speed of light. And the first one is in the Red Ribbon Army arc, and the second one is in the 23rd Budokai Tenkaichi tournament, I'm pretty sure, against Tien when he first showed up. Now, the first instance was against General Black, where he had his mech suit. Basically, what happened was he killed Commander Red because Commander Red, he found out what his plan was. It was just to get taller, and it wasn't to actually for world domination. So he betrayed him, he killed him, he wore his mech suit to fight Goku, and he basically, showed off one of his weapons, which was basically an arm cannon, which I think they say was like a gamma cannon or something like that. So basically he shoots out a gamma laser, and he fires it against Goku the first time while he's down on the ground in the building, and Goku, as he sees it's about to hit him, he jumps and dodges it. And then another instance happens right after this where he grabs Goku and then throws him on the through the building on the outside, smashing into another building, and he's upside down. As he's upside down, you have General Black fire off the energy blast, and it's about to hit Goku, and it looks like it does hit him, and it looks like it vaporizes him, and he's like celebrating, but we see Goku's actually on top of the building. So what happened was he fired the energy blast, and it was supposed to hit Goku, but Goku was able to dodge and end up on top of the building, and then he ended up kicking it or landing onto the shield, and he punched it and punched himself, which was kind of funny. And then the other instance in the 23rd Budokai Tenkaichi tournament, with Goku versus Tien. Tien basically used the solar flare. He used this prior against Master Roshi, and it basically blinded him and all the other audience members. But Goku noticed something. He noticed that apparently the announcer wasn't blinded because he had his sunglasses on. So he realized that to negate this whole effect, all he would have to do is wear some sunglasses. And while he was fighting against Tien, he knew that he was going to use it, and as he used this, he went to grab Master Roshi's glasses, put them on, and came back, and as Tien was charging in, he basically catches his punch and elbows him and basically takes him down. And Tien was surprised. He's like, what the hell, how were you able to know what I was going to do? You should have been blinded. But he showcases that he took Master Roshi's glasses, which he's like, oh damn, you're really fast, and he gives it back to him. Now these two instances showcase Goku having feats that put him above, faster than the speed of light. Now there are some counter arguments that some of the I guess you can say down players argue against these two feats, saying no, he wasn't dodging these attacks as it was coming out. It was basically aim dodging, which is basically you notice your opponent is going to fire a move or do his move or shoot or do something like that, and you dodge, you see them aiming at you, and you dodge before it fires off. So you're not actually dodging the move, but you're dodging them aiming and then pre-dodging before they fire it off. And that's usually the arguments for these two instances. And I also want to go in depth in why these instances would make him fasten the speed of light by dodging it. So I will go through both of those scenarios. So first, for the general black one, the reason why it would be a light speed attack is because it's a gamma, cannon or laser, which you guys all know the lasers move at the speed of light, and gamma is just basically another form of like light, like radio waves and stuff like that, and they all basically move around the speed of light. Some of them are a little bit slower, but not by enough to make any significant difference, right? So it would technically be moving at the speed of light, even if you'd want to take away the gamma thing, it being a laser, because what else would it be? Would be making it move at the speed of light. So for Goku to be able to dodge it, it would mean he would have to be faster than the speed of light, right? But the counter argument, like I said, that a lot of people make is that he was aim dodging. He knew that it was going to fire it, and then he dodged it. So he dodged it before he even fired it. But that doesn't make any sense, because if you actually look at the panels, one, Goku did not know he had this cannon. He did not know what the hell it was. And we know Goku, especially when it comes to technology, he's oblivious. When Bulma pulled out a gun, he was like, what the hell is this? He didn't even know what a car was. Yes, at this point, he knew more about technology, but he was still confused a lot as a kid by technology, so he wouldn't be expecting that this is a laser cannon and have to dodge before it. He was just probably looking at like, what is happening, and he did have that expression. And the big kind of argument I have to that critique or that argument against it is the fact that even, let's say, if Goku knew that, he dodged only after the shot. If you see when General Black fires at him, Goku dodges the attack after it came out. So the only way aim dodging really works is if you dodge before the shot, gets fired off. If it gets fired off, even let's say you notice where they're aiming at, but you don't move when it's fired off and only moved afterwards, and that means that you're faster than it if you can dodge it. So he dodged it that time, and then the second time it's even more abundantly clear that was the case, because he was basically dizzy and barely conscious fully. Yes, he had enough consciousness to dodge it, but he was barely conscious when he first fired it. And you see from the image itself, it was already fired out, and it went a couple of feet already ahead. So by the time it hit the thing, Goku was able to dodge it right after. So it wasn't like Goku noticed that, hey, he's gonna fire again and let me dodge before he fires it. He was not very well cognitively aware, because he was dizzy, and you can see through the illustration. But also when you see through the image, General Black already fired off the energy attack, so Goku only dodged it afterwards, which would go against the the aim dodging, meaning that Goku technically, yes, did dodge a laser, meaning that he would be faster than light by going through that movement, even if it was just him jumping. So his reflexes would be faster than light. And then for the Tien one, it's a little bit more of an argument here, I guess you can make, but there's some kind of argument to it still. Tien's, solar flare, though it does use ki like other attacks, unlike the regular attacks where it can fluctuate the speed, it can go slower than the speed of light or faster than the speed of light, as we've seen throughout the series consistently. This technique produces light itself, which would move at the speed of light. So for him to be moving before the light reaches his eyes to put on, go to Master Roshi and grab his glasses, put it on himself, would mean that he would be moving faster than the light moving to him, because the light would have touched him already if he was slower than light itself, right? So the aim dodging, once again, that's the counterpoint to that statement and that argument. But if you see Tien, by the time he was doing it, Goku didn't really move. And you can argue that, well, in the panels, it doesn't look like that. It didn't really show Goku, so he could have been moved before that. But Tien would have saw him moving. Let's be honest, if he did it, he would have saw it. He didn't close his eyes yet. So it would have to be instant. So I still don't agree with that. Also, if you watch the actual anime and you see the arc, you would see that Goku only moved after Tien did it. And yes, the manga doesn't follow 100% the anime, but the anime just showcases better the illustrations of the manga, because the manga can sometimes kind of be harder to see fully the full scope of what happens in the fight. But yeah, was this aim dodging? I don't think so, because you clearly see Goku leaving after he does the technique. So I do think that he dodged it. Now, some of you guys are gonna say, well, okay, I guess that's the point, right? Kid Goku is faster than light, and you agree with those people. Actually, no, I do not agree with that. And I did mention this in my video on talking about how strong is the Dragon Ball characters and then how strong is the Dragon Ball Z characters. I did mention in that video talking about it. I don't think I mentioned specifically of I disagreed with this, but or I think I said something about like, at some point in the future, which I guess it's now, I'll cover this and talk about it because this is contested a lot of this is, consistent or not. And like I said, they have counter arguments. Now, I disagree with the counter arguments. I do think that they're wrong. I do think that if you want to say they're downplaying, it's definitely a fair argument to make. But like I said, do I agree that Kid Goku is faster than the speed of light? Like I said, no. Now you guys are going to say, well, wait. You just defended it and said that, well, these guys are trying to downplay this feat and, countered their argumentative points and agreed with it. But now you're also saying that you don't believe he's faster than light. Why? Well, the reason why I don't believe it is because there's also another argument that you can make, and that this is, a power scaling inconsistency or just an inconsistency in general. Because we know throughout, fictional writing, sometimes these writers aren't as, especially if there's like comic books where there's multiple writers, they're not as consistent as you hope them to be, and sometimes they write these characters to be more stronger than they are and sometimes weaker than they are. So this, I look at it more of as an outlier and a high-end outlier where it's more ridiculous than anything. And the reason why I say that is because consistency. First of all, let's be honest, do you think Toriyama was trying to make the argument by showcasing this as, oh, General Black's is, cannon he's firing is a laser, and lasers move at the speed of light. We all know that. And that, Tien's solar flare also produces light. So him dodging it, moving out there and grabbing the glasses come back means he's faster than light, right? But Toriyama, I don't think that's what his case was. It was just, he dodged this attack that he was firing. And the other one, he had a smart way to counter, the solar flare. So he did this. So that's the way I see it personally. And I consider this as a power scaling inconsistency. And an outlier more on a high end, kind of like, with Goku struggling to lift 40 tons. I don't think Goku would struggle to lift 40 tons. We know he can lift more than that when we see the consistency throughout Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z later on. He has feats of strength that surpass that, or are close on to it. And if you do, basic math calculations and use logic, you would know that he would, if you were to calculate it, it would be above what was shown, right? So I don't take that seriously, even though it was 100% legitly shown. That doesn't mean everything that's shown is, you could use for an argument, because a lot of these writers, like I said, they can be very inconsistent. So if you can agree that the 40 tons thing is not reasonable and it's bad writing, and Goku can lift more than that, which he can, if you can agree with that, then you can also agree that they can have, sometimes Toriyama can write feats where he's way too overpowered and it doesn't make any sense. And the reason why I don't believe Kid Goku was faster than light, I do think Z Goku's faster than speed of light. I'm not going to tell you when I think it is, because I want to make a video on that at some point in the future too. So that'll be a future video. But in this video, I just want to say specifically he's not faster than light in Dragon Ball. And the main reason is consistency, like I said. Look through what he's done through speed-wise before this. He was able to dodge bullets from machine guns, pistols, snipers, dodge shotgun bullets, dodge rocket launchers, dodge actual missiles. So that's impressive, right? But that would put him like at hypersonic or hypersonic plus or massively hypersonic plus, right? But is it fair to say that he would be at the speed of light or close to the speed of light? No. How do you go from massively hypersonic plus to faster than the speed of light? That is too absurd of a jump in power for me personally. It doesn't make any sense, because when you see the consistency in Goku's feats prior to it, it was nowhere near close. And even after that, even in Dragon Ball Z and early on Dragon Ball Z, his speed was not that quick. It is not on that level. So how do you go from being able to dodge bullets and rocket launchers and missiles to being able to dodge light itself? Don't you think that's a little bit of an absurd jump in speed? And the other reason why I also do think that it's kind of absurd is when Goku was talking about, with Popo saying you have to be faster than lightning. He's like, well, that's kind of hard. And it could be just metaphorically, but Goku takes things literally, so he was probably taking it as a literal statement. So, and we know light is slower. Lightning is slower than I meant lightning, not light. Lightning is slower than light. Lightning at its fastest goes like 1/3 the speed of light. At its slowest, it goes at 1/3000th the speed of light. The reason people think it's light speed is because the return stroke, which that's not what people think about. The initial stroke is where the lightning comes down. The return stroke is when it hits the ground and then gets resent back up to the sky itself. But nobody talks about that dodging. So it would be most likely 1/3000th the speed of light, basically meaning it would be 3,000 times slower than the speed of light itself. That feat. So even if you want to, because people also argue that Goku is able to move faster than the speed of lightning by the end of Dragon Ball. But if you believe in that, that would basically mean that you do not believe that he's faster than this, because lightning does not move at the speed of light. It moves 3,000 times slower. And even if you want to go by the fastest speed, which is the return stroke, which we don't really calculate that one because nobody thinks about the lightning hitting the ground and going back up. Even if we go by that, it's going to be 1/3 the speed of light. So he would still have been slower than the speed of light by that point, right? And those feats came prior to that, and he was supposed to be faster than the speed of light. So you have a feat where later on people argue that he's 1/3 the speed of light or surpassed 1/3 the speed of light, but then before that you're saying that he was just faster than the speed of light. It's very inconsistent, like I said. And then also, if Goku was that fast, him going through Snake Way, he would have been able to go through it way quicker, instantly. And I do agree also Snake Way, and I made a video on that too, so you guys can go check that out, where I call that out as an inconsistency. I think Goku's way faster than that. I think he should have been able to travel Snake way faster. But do I think to, in a couple of seconds? No, I think that's absurd. But yeah, I just think in general, when you look at consistency, it doesn't really make much sense that Kid Goku would be faster than light. So I wouldn't put him at that. I would put Dragon Ball Z Goku at that. And like I said, I'll make a video on where I would place, like what point in time would I place Goku at the fastest speed of light. But all the way back in Dragon Ball, especially as a kid, I think that's way too early on, because like I said, before and after this, the only thing we seem comparable to is bullets and stuff like that. If he was faster than light, wouldn't he had way more strongings than 2? It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I disagree with the whole argument of aim dodging, but I still don't think that that he is faster than the speed of light at this point. I do think it's just a power scaling inconsistency, and us as fans want to make believe that that he would be that fast as a kid, but it's just not very reasonable. Though I will admit that the speed in Dragon Ball is very inconsistent. Sometimes they show feats that would put them insanely fast speeds, but then other times we see feats where they put them in unbelievably slow feats, speed feats. So like I said, consistency matters. When you look at congruently throughout the timeline, what he was able to go do with the speed, it was nothing close to light speed before that. And then the arguments about lightning, which can be metaphorically speaking, because in the manga they didn't show him dodging lightning like in the anime. But even if we do use that, that would put him still below it. And then even all the way to Dragon Ball Z, he didn't show the speeds on that level. So do I agree with those videos? No. I do not think Goku as a kid is faster than light. I do think he's massively hypersonic plus, and I've stated that before. I stated in the How Strong is the Dragon Ball Characters video, I do think he's massively hypersonic plus. Maybe in the dozens to hundreds of times the speed of sound range. I wouldn't put him at thousands of times the speed of sound at that point, but I would put him dozens to hundreds, maybe close to 1,000 times the speed of sound by the end of Dragon Ball itself. But to put him at light speed is ridiculous, because like I said, how do you go from dodging bullets, rockets, and missiles to dodging light itself? And then go back to lightning, and that it just doesn't make any sense congruently if you think about it. So yeah, I know I'm gonna have a lot of disagreements from a lot of you guys, so I want to have some back and forth dialogue in the comment section below. I just want to see why you guys disagree with me, because personally I just think it's a power scaling inconsistency, and that's the way I see it, because it's not very consistent. So yeah, I want to have some discussion with you down there below in the comment section there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.